And welcome to Knit Tea Live. Woo! Sorry, I am running late today. Some days, some mornings, some Sunday mornings, I come into this space where I shoot and I get everything set up really, really quickly, really, really well, and it's just like comes together like magic. And it's like, oh, I got this down. Look at me. And other mornings, it's a struggle. This morning was a struggle. Like, I couldn't seem to get my cameras quite right, and like everything. And then I had to restart my computer. It was just one of those mornings. But we are here. I do have my coffee in my Katigo mug, which, as you all know, I love. But I also have a treat for myself this morning. I am going to try out this canned Bloody Mary. It is from Cutwater Spirits. It's Fugu vodka. I just felt like a Bloody Mary this morning. I do enjoy a good Bloody Mary. We will see if there is a good Bloody Mary from a can. So, woo, treat for me. I hope that you all have a beverage of your choice this morning that you can enjoy. Cheers. Oh, that's good. It doesn't taste real heavy on the alcohol, but it's like just got a real nice spicy punch, which is what I like. Yes, okay. By the way, just quick disclosures to get through real quick. One, down in the description box, you will find affiliate links. My mission is to share the joy of knitting and crafting, and if you click on one of my affiliate links and you do a little shopping, I might earn a small commission. And this helps support my channel and my mission. And yeah, and please only use affiliate links if you were wanting to make a purchase anyway. Please. And also, I will never, as I always say, I will never, ever, 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 ever recommend a product or a service that I would not recommend to my very best friend, who is my sister. Anyway, so got all that business out of the way. One last thing, which is to say hi in the chat box. I'd love to know who is here, and if you have a chance, give this a thumbs up. Giving thumbs up, chatting with me in the chat box, or if you're watching on replay, giving a thumbs up, making comments down in the comment section lets YouTube know that this is a space worth checking out. I'm feeling very singy today, very jazz hands today. So yeah, for today, oh shoot, sorry, my computer is wanting me to update my phone. And I'm like, I don't want to update my phone right now. Thank you very much. Please go away. Like, stop with the alerts. I'm on live right now. Good morning, Whitney. Thank you for joining us today. So glad you're here. I hope you're well as well. I'm doing pretty good. It's been an interesting week. I did roll my ankle, and I didn't sprain it, but I did strain my ankle, and I skinned the hell out of my knee. Like, my right ankle was like, and my left knee was like, yeah, that was no fun. So yeah, I did. I skinned, oh God, and bruised the hell of it. So anyway, hi Bear, welcome. I'm so glad you were able to make it this weekend. Hello Charles Corlag, good morning. Oh, welcome, Whitney's husband. I'm so glad that you're here. He said hi. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So, this week, we are going to... Sorry, I lost my train of thought. I'm really bad about that. I'm going to show you a little bit of stuff that I have in progress. Something that's almost... It's not quite a finished object. I'm like 1-2 steps away from being at the finishing stage, but it's close. It's close enough. It's a project that I've been working on since the end of last year, so I'm going to show you where I am with that. We will have a very tiny pattern spotlight this week. There were not a lot of new patterns, but I will show you what there is. I'm going to show you one of my favorite designers who is on the Fiber Indie list. We're going to take a look at Kathleen Sperling's work. Kathleen Sperling, who is aka Whip Insanity, which I love her name. I love her brand name. And she was one of the two people, along with Rachel Newen, who was involved in creating the Fasten Off Yarn Along 2020 at the end of the year, which, if you've been watching me, you heard a lot about, because it was a super fun time, and I'm hopeful that we will have it again at the end of this year, and I will promote the hell out of it again, because I believe in it. Also, I thought we might talk a little bit about the relationship between designers and makers, because there was an interesting conversation that went on Twitter yesterday, really. And the big thing that is on my bio, or on the thumbnail, but not on the live stream title yet, because I once again forgot to change the live stream title before going live. So I was on Etsy, and I found some interesting items, and I thought we'd take a look at some of them because they were quite interesting. So that's kind of what's on the agenda. And of course, if there's anything you want to talk about, you have any questions about anything, throw them out there. That's part of the fun of live stream, is I try to have some topics to cover just to have the conversation rolling, but we can take this in any direction that you want, because this is an interactive experience. Believe it or not, I do this all the time, whether I'm on camera or not, whether I'm by myself or around other people. I'm always like doing stuff like this, like dancing, singing. Like, as far as I'm concerned, life should be a musical. Why aren't we all breaking out into random songs to express our feelings? I mean, I think we would have a happier world if that were the case, you know. Although there is the Buffy episode where that was slightly disproven. That world should not exist if it's a demon involved. Let's just put it that way. Okay, so let's start with looking at some pretty things, shall we? So, let's see. All right, I gotta roll out the white. I'm gonna roll out the white cloth before I switch to my overhead. I love having the black desk now, by the way. I think it looks so much better than the brown wood, fake wood desk that I had before, and it's so much easier to deal with. But sometimes with some colors, the black, it doesn't work so well. So I have like a piece of white flannel to put out, and let's see, what am I looking for? I'm looking for this. Fix my overhead a little bit. Okay, that's good. All right, I'm going to transition. And so, last week, if you were here, you know that we picked out this yarn for me to make the Mira glove for the knit-along we're doing for the Mira glove, which is a glove that whoops, my headphones. Yes, my headphones got tangled up in my yarn. Modern knitters' problems. By the way, let me just say this. I've been doing some research on things to do with scrap yarn, and I came across a project that I want to do, which is an iCord iPhone cable cozy. And I'm like, I think I need this in my life. I think I need to have something to stop my iPhone headphones from tangling up on themselves, on everything. I do not know what is with the iPhone headphones. But going way back to the very beginning of iPhones, those cables, like, you look at them and they tangle up on themselves. I don't know how it happens. Whitney, I love that Buffy episode, Once More with Feeling. Big Buffy fan. Yes. That is a classic. That is one of my favorite episodes ever. Fun fact, my first two cats were named Wesley and Xander. And no, that's not a coincidence. And when I met my husband my husband works in the entertainment industry. He works, he's what's called a first AC, assistant cameraman. He pulls focus. The show he had just wrapped up when we met was Dr. Horrible's sing-along blog. So, yeah. I did get to meet, very, very briefly, Joss Whedon. Yes, I still geek out about that. Okay. I got the mustard out. Yeah. Yes, Samantha. Welcome. They got the mustard out. Oh my god. I love that moment. It's so good. So good. Such a good episode. That's an episode that will always make you happy. Okay, so that's awesome. Yeah, it was pretty awesome. His stock went way up when we found that out. Okay, nope, that's not what I want. That's what here we go. Back to this. Okay, so this is the Mira fingerless glove. I finished the 2x2 ribbing. I finished the cuff where it has the slip stitch pattern all the way around. I hope that this is appearing okay on camera. This yarn is kind of dark. In person, it totally shows up, but on camera with the live stream, the resolution may not be the clearest. And I'm starting my thumb gusset right there. So, yeah, this is what I got so far on the Mira glove. As I said, we are doing a knit along on my fiber group with this glove. It's going all through the month of February. If you want to hop in, it is not too late. This glove is worked with worsted weighted yarn, and it's a quick project. Like, this glove can work up very quickly. At least it does for me. Bear, I'm just about to start the hand and gusset part of the glove. Yay! I enjoy doing the thumb and gusset part of it. One of the reasons that I like working gloves, mittens, fingerless gloves and mittens on DPNs is because it gives me an opportunity to use the DPNs as stitch markers themselves. So what I do with DPNs and thumb gussets is I rearrange my stitches so that the thumb gusset stitches are on one needle, thusly, and then I evenly divide the rest of the stitches between the other 3 needles. And because with this glove, the back of the hand where this slip stitch pattern is done is more stitches than the palm is, I evenly divide the slip stitches between the first 2 needles, and then I just have the palm on one needle. So that's one thing I do like about DPNs and knitting gloves, is that you can really, there's nice ways that you can organize your stitches so that the needles themselves become stitch markers. And when working fingerless gloves and mittens, a lot of times I am using a worsted weight or a sport weight yarn, and so they're big enough DPNs that they're not annoying or as annoying. I love knitting socks, but I don't love knitting fingering weight on DPNs. Like, I don't know, it's just a thing with me. My preference is to, if I'm going to use DPNs, to be using it on like heavier weights of yarn. So that's me. That's where I'm at with the project. If you want to jump into the knit along as well, you can join the fiber group, Knits Where It's At, on Mighty Networks. There's a link down in the description box for you to join. And it's a free pattern because I'm not a professional pattern writer. In fact, Bear already found 2 of my mistakes. Thank you. I appreciate you making me aware of those. Whitney, I need to cast on. It's always getting that first cast on, isn't it? I know. It took me a little bit to cast on, too, because I have other things that I was, like, trying to get wrapped up and done, and I was like, ooh, I gotta grab those DPNs. Bear, when the pattern says work thumb gusset, does it mean knit those stitches unless it's an increase round? Yes. So whenever it says work the thumb gusset, that does mean that you're going to be knitting those stitches that are part of the thumb gusset. The way thumb gussets generally work, let me go back to my overhead. So the way thumb gussets generally are built is that it will take 1 to 3 stitches from the stitches that you cast it on. In my pattern, I like to use 3 stitches to start the thumb gusset. Some patterns choose 1. And you do increases to create a triangle. So on this pattern, you start off increasing at the thumb gusset every 3rd round. And each round is just a plain row of stockinette between those increases. So yes, that's what I mean by working the thumb gusset. Because, and the thing about the stitch pattern, this slip stitch pattern, is, oh, excuse me, my nose got a little runny. It's because this Bloody Mary is so spicy. It's making my nose run. I kind of like that feeling. Anyway, this slip stitch pattern, which is the honeycomb slip stitch pattern, it's a 4-row repeat, but the increases happen every 3rd row, and so I kind of had to make a choice where to create directions that are along the lines of while you do this, also do this other thing. So that's why the pattern is written in that way. And if you're not part of the knit along, I realize this is all going to not sound like it makes much sense, but this is something that happens fairly commonly in working fingerless gloves or gloves or mittens that have patterning on it. In fact, let me show you the other project that I was going to show you today that I'm almost finished with, which is another fingerless glove project, and that is this one. That's the completed glove. There we go. Yeah. And so this is the Luce Natui. It means, it's Gaelic for lavender, but this is the glove. It's by Liz Cork. I've been working on this. This is the completed first glove, and it has its thumb gusset here, and it has these mock cable stitch patterns running up the back of the hand. So I am nearly finished. I cast it off, the main part of the glove, and now I have my needles ready to finish the thumb, and then I'll be finished with this project. Now, this project, the way the pattern was written, the thumb gusset is worked starting with just 1 stitch here, and then you work your thumb gussets and you do your increases. The increases are done every 3rd row, and that's pretty common with thumb gussets. A lot of times they are worked where you're doing increases starting every 3rd or every 4th row. But with her pattern, each pattern row, she gives instructions where she talks mostly about knitting the gusset and then has a direction that says work pattern stitches. And you have to go and look at a chart or written directions, depending on your preference, to see how these stitches are worked. And again, it's because this stitch pattern is a 12-stitch repeat, vertical repeat. And so it just doesn't have easily matching increases to the same row of the stitch pattern. So it's one of those tricky things about writing patterns is when you have multiple things happening in a section of the pattern at once, it's tricky on how you go about writing that and how designers go about writing that. You see oftentimes when you are knitting sweaters, directions that will say, you know, for armhole shaping, and it'll give you a set of shaping directions, decreases to do, and then it'll have the directions at the same time, work patterns for the neck. And because different shaping is happening at different places along the garment, it can't just easily give you a line-by-line direction. So, Bear, I see what you mean when you said read that part carefully. Yeah, and it is. You have to kind of read it carefully. I personally have always found that once I start working a pattern, sometimes reading those things where it's like, do this in this area, and at the same time, do this other thing in the other area of the pattern, it can sometimes be kind of confusing. It's hard sometimes to visualize what's going on with that. I've usually found for myself that once I start actually doing it, I start understanding the logic of what's happening behind it, and then I can follow along. But simply reading the directions can be tricky. Um, there have been times when I have gone ahead and charted it for myself, where I've put together a knitting chart so I could, at least for the first few rows, see how things were laying out so that I understood and wouldn't miss anything. I have done that. But the biggest thing that I do is anytime with shaping rows, you can go back to the overhead. This one. You'll see here, I have all these stitch markers. These stitch markers here represent my gusset shaping. And I have a video where I talked about using stitch markers to track shaping rows. And so as this was being worked, I had my stitch markers here. And originally all of these stitch markers were hanging off this one. And that was always a reminder to me of like, okay, I've gotten to my third row from this stitch marker. It's time for me to do an increase. I mark that row, and that helps me keep track of my shaping. But it's also a reminder to me to make sure that I check back in with those gusset directions. That's also why it's always a good idea to have stitch markers to help you remind you of the different sections of a pattern. Now here on this, I have a scrap piece of yarn just to remind me of the beginning of the round stitches. This glove I worked on double pointed needles, so I had a stitch marker, a scrap yarn stitch marker like this here at the end of the pattern, and another one here at the gusset. And again, that acted as a reminder to me of there's something else going on in this section of the glove that I need to, if I don't remember what it is, go back to the pattern and look at it. So, yes, Bear, that is correct. For the extra small, you have different shaping, and you are shaping every fourth round. Because the extra small, the thumb gusset opening may not need to be as big, so there are fewer increases that need to occur, so they get stretched out over more rows so that you still have a good opening for your thumb. So yeah, but it is a challenge when you're writing a pattern, and when the designers are writing patterns. It is a challenge on how do you communicate everything that's going on with the pattern on a piece of paper. Because a lot of times it's easier to demonstrate than to write down. It's just a fact of life. And this gets me to something that I wanted to talk a little bit about today, which is the relationship that you have with the designer when you are working a pattern. Because I, over the years, have come to think of myself when I'm working somebody else's pattern as me working in collaboration with the designer through the pattern. When we get patterns, now some people's goals when they get a pattern is to recreate the picture that they see. That is their goal. That's not my goal personally when I necessarily, I should say. It's not necessarily my goal when I work a pattern from a designer. My goal is to make a project that I'm happy with. And sometimes that means following very closely what it is the designer has written down because I really love what is there and I want to be able to do it. But it also means that I can choose to make decisions along the way that's going to make the project right for me. Sometimes that involves situations where it says, here's this cast on that I use. I might look at that cast on and for whatever reason, it's not my choice. It's not the cast on I want to use. I choose to do a cast on that I want to use. Now, admittedly, it's an informed choice. I understand, hopefully, why they've chosen the cast on that they've chosen for the project. And whatever functional needs that cast on fulfills, I need to try to make the same, probably need to achieve the same functional needs. But sometimes a cast on is there for decorative reasons. Maybe, like, there's a cast on called Channel Islands cast on, which creates this little, like, series of knots at the bottom of the row and it's decorative and it's really pretty. Maybe you don't like that. You don't have to use that cast on if you don't want to. That is a creative choice you get to make as the maker. Sometimes, though, you make a mistake when you're working a pattern. It happens. Happens to all of us. Happens to me all the time. But you actually like the mistake. You actually like the effect that the mistake creates. And you're like, you know what? I'm going to keep doing it in this way. And in making that choice, you are now making that pattern your own. And you're bringing a new twist to what the designer created. And I think that's really exciting. I think what's tough, however, sometimes is that thing, that creative choice that you've made. Sometimes we'll be seeing like someone like, but that's not what the pattern said. So what? You're the boss of your knitting. You get to make those choices. And personally for me, a large motivation behind my videos and my channels is to help empower knitters to understand more what's going on with their knitting so that you can make better, more informed choices. So yeah, what are your thoughts? When you are working a pattern, are you trying to recreate what's there on the page exactly? Or are you coming at it going, there are these things that I want to achieve with it. Maybe I'll change this. Maybe I'll change that. I'd love to hear your thoughts about it and what you think in terms of what is a successful project after you're done. Is it one that is very much what the designer had written down? Or is it something that makes you happy and even if it's different, you're good with that? And the reason I bring this up again, there was an interesting conversation on Twitter. A designer / teacher, Kate Atherley, who is amazing. She's so knowledgeable. She's so talented. Just an amazing knitter, a really great teacher. I have nothing but good things to say about Kate Atherley. She can be very, particular, like I think a lot of us knitters can be. And she tweeted saying, oh, I had somebody email me a photo of a project and they did this direction, this decrease, I think it was a decrease, differently than what I had specifically noted, and I don't know if I should tell them that they made this mistake. I don't think it was intentional. I think they made a mistake, and should I tell them? And the consensus was, if they're not asking, don't tell them. Like, just let them enjoy the piece. Just let them enjoy it. And, you know, what I said to her over Twitter, and she took it so well, she's so kind, was I did say to her, I was like, you know, from my perspective as a maker, I'm like, why assume it was a mistake? Maybe it was, but they liked it and they went with it. Or maybe they made the decision beforehand to go ahead and do the pattern the way that they chose to do it. You really don't know. And they've made something that's uniquely theirs, and that's, you know, kind of the collaborative spirit of things. And she seemed to like really appreciate. I got a like on that comment. So, but I thought it was a really interesting conversation, and I think it's something that I think a lot of times makers, we, especially if you're new to knitting, can feel like, oh my gosh, the pattern says to do this, so I must do this. And it's like, no, a lot of the things in the pattern are even needles. You'll see this all the time. Oh my gosh, what am I doing wrong? It says to use a size 6 needle, and I can't achieve that gauge with a size 6. It's like, well, the size 6 is the jumping off point. That's not your tension. Use the needle that gets you to the gauge. That's the important thing. But again, it's not having sort of, I think, the confidence. And I think as knitters, to go in, we should knit confidently and embrace things, even when they're mistakes. In fact, let me have to get it out here. Is it here? No, that's the sleeve. I know I had it out. I can't find it now. It must be somewhere else. My video, my German short row video, I pulled out an old project that it's like my oldest unfinished project. And the thing about that, it's a t-shirt. There's a little bit of lace edging at the edge. And this was like the first really big thing that I tried to knit. And I actually did that edging all wrong. I did the yarn overs incorrectly. I ended up twisting them, and so everything got closed up. And I was already done with the front piece when I realized my mistake. And I made the decision that, okay, well, on the back piece, I'm just going to repeat the mistake, and that's now going to be my design choice. And I was quite happy with the results, and nobody ever noticed. I did show this unfinished piece to people. I just need a seam. I just need a seam up the sides. I don't know why I don't just do it. I can't even begin to tell you how old this project is, by the way. So old. But, yeah, I just need to seam it. But I showed it to a couple, friends, and they're like, they never saw anything. No mistake whatsoever. So, anyway. Okay, so, unless anyone has anything to say or jump in on this, I think we'll move on into our very brief pattern spotlight, and then we will end on the unexpected things that I found on Etsy, because oh my goodness, there are some interesting things on Etsy, where I just went, do they sell that? That was my reaction. It really was. Okay, I gotta turn that off. Make sure that just make sure my window is in the right place before I switch over. Okay. So like I said, not a lot of new things released this week. The Fiber Happenings is very brief. Sorry, I'm looking for this. There we go. It's very brief, but I'm going to make sure that I scroll slowly down. Fiber Happenings. I got to remove that. That craftivism is expired now. I forgot to move that. But this is the new project. No. Did I not? Oh, I know. Okay, I made a mistake. Sorry, I gotta scroll down farther. I know what happened. Here it is. I forgot to move it up. It's fine. A Bee in the Bonnet Snuggery Hat. This is a new pattern from Lauren Rad. It's a hat, and it is so adorable. One of the things I really do love about Lauren Rad's work is she beautifully combines textured stitches and lacy stitches that give these very cozy but still airy effect. And I think this hat is a perfect example of it. This is called the Snuggery, and I'm just zoom in here. There we go. You can see there are alternating panels of this slip stitch pattern with this zigzagging eyelet pattern. It's really cute. It's really adorable. And the crown, I think, is just stunning. I love the way the patterns terminate at the crown, and you have these lines of ribbing that come together to create this crown in this gorgeous shape. It kind of reminds me of a starfish. It just occurred to me. But that is the new pattern from Lauren Rad. And also, and I've said this before, follow her on Instagram if you are on Instagram, because her photos are gorgeous. And she also is a gardener, and she posts photos of her blooms, and they're just, it doesn't make me want to be a gardener, but it does make me appreciate people who love gardening. Let me put it that way. So that is the new pattern from Lauren Rad. It's on sale through the end of today. I believe it's 15% off. Yes, it's 15% off. So it's regularly $6, but you can get it for today for $5.10. And that is available on Etsy. But yeah, it's gorgeous. I love that hat. I'm going to just come back to the full screen for a second. Like I said, we're going to do a quick designer spotlight because there were not many new patterns this month, or this week, I should say. Oh, by the way, before I forget, blog post, something I'm going to try to be really good about this year, is at the start of each month, putting up a blog post with links to all the new patterns that came out the previous month. So right now, on my blog post are links for all the new patterns that came out in the month of January, and I did pick out my favorite pattern from January. So if you want to find out what that was, visit my blog. I'm not going to tell you. Keeping secrets. That's right. Keeping secrets. But I think when you see what my favorite pattern was, you're going to be like, oh, yeah, that makes sense. Oh, no, that's wrong. I'm just finding Kathleen Sperling's Etsy store. Here it goes. Here we go. You know what? Let's not go to her Etsy store. Let's go to her Payhip. I don't know how all the designers are doing it right now with like keeping up with all these different platforms to sell their work. So here we go. Okay. Got it set up. Here we go. This is Whip Insanity, Kathleen Sperling. She's another great follow on Instagram and Twitter, by the way. And here is her work. And it is just stunning. I would just describe Kathleen's work as sort of classic knitwear, but I love the colors that she chooses, like this stole with just a stunning piece of color work. I'm pretty sure this is stranded color work, just gorgeous. This being done on a large scale. I believe those are peacock motifs here. These are birds with then having these large diamond motifs. It's just stunning. Yeah, I just love it. So there's that. And color work features heavily in Kathleen's work, but I think one of the things I also really love about her work is her sense of stitch movement, which gives a real like dynamics. Here is this sock, which features a diagonal twisted stitch pattern, and I love the movement and the texture of this sock. This is a sock that definitely has some like feeling of heft to it. It's just beautiful. It's called the wraparound sock. And I just clicked on it. I don't know all the details, but I'm looking at the toe, and it looks like there's an eyelet pattern on the toe. Just beautiful. Yeah, I mean, it's so beautiful. But it's a different take on a sock, and I just love the movement of it. It's so unexpected, and the way that she's carried it down all the way through from the toe to the cuff. Let's just quickly read the description. Working yarn overs with a decrease is a basic knitting skill, but it creates a fantastic effect when you use it all over the sock. So she knitted this on a bias. The diagonal lines which wrap around and around this fun and easy pair of socks looks more complex than they actually are to execute. So my guess is that this sock is one where it is being knit on a bias. So bias knitting is really cool. When you knit on a bias, basically on a row, if you have a increase on one end and a decrease on the other, you will create a bias in the fabric. It will start tilting and the work will hit a diagonal. That's what a bias is, by the way. And it's really, biases are created with increases and decreases. Chevron patterns. Chevron patterns is a classic stitch pattern, and that is basically a stitch pattern that is created with bias knitting. And it's done by creating an increase on one end and then a decrease at the peak, and then, yeah. So I love those socks. I think they're so cool. It's just really original. Look at this. Look at this. Talk about unique. Thanks, it has a pocket cowl. You know I love my cowls. Oh my gosh. This cowl has a pocket in it. So there is a zipper. This is definitely, I would say, a more advanced skill, which is to sew in a zipper with your hand knits. But I mean, how clever is that? How clever is that? Love it. Love anything with a pocket. So cool. So cool. So you can see the full cowl there, infinity scarf, and it has that zippered pocket. And it, again, really lovely use of texture and color with this fade that's created between the orange and the red. Just beautiful. And I think the thing, too, that I really appreciate about Kathleen's work is that there's definitely a lot of color work. She definitely loves color, which I love. But there is variety to what it is that she's doing. I mean, my God, look at all this amazing color work. I almost don't even know where to land. Let's look at this beautiful Beilu tam. Just, again, lovely, lovely, lovely color work with these large, I would describe them as butterflies, but it's probably flower motif. And I love the decorative cast-on edge. I'm not sure if that's a Pico cast-on or a Channel Islands cast-on, but it's so nice and decorative. So gorgeous. So gorgeous. The white work technique in medieval manuscripts is that a painting fine lines in white paint across a colored background. White work was very much in vogue in Western Europe starting about the 12th century and was certainly in full swing during the 14th century. Nice. So that was the inspiration for this hat, was medieval white work techniques. So gorgeous. I know, I keep saying gorgeous, beautiful. Like sometimes I'm sitting there going, Carrie, find another phrase to use. I'm just kind of scrolling through. Oh, this was the one I was looking for. This is the Tracery Vest. This is her most well-known work. This was originally a knitting magazine, and oh my God. I mean, how stunning is this? It is wearing a stained glass window. Just amazing, amazing design. And her use of the dark with the variegated yarn to create this stained glass effect is so inspired. This is just beautiful. I mean, I could just sit and look at that all day. Can't you? I can. That vest is wow. Yes, Samantha, agreed. It is just wow. Like, I just dribbled on myself. I don't have, like, I didn't bring it again. Oh, on my floor, I have an old dishcloth that I never wove in the ends. This is perfect. Excuse me as I clean myself up from dribbling on myself. I'm many, many years on this planet now and still trying to perfect my ability to drink from a glass. Oh my gosh. So that is Kathleen Sperling. You can find Kathleen links to her various stores to shop on. You can find links to that on the Fiber Indie list. She is in the knitting indie section. Her brand name is Whip Insanity, so you will find her in that section of the Fiber Indie list. And after the live stream is over, I will put a link to her work down in the description box as well. But yeah, just so stunning. I can't get over it. I can't get over that vest. It's just so, so cool. Okay, so we are going to take a look at something fun. I thought maybe of doing this as a standalone video, and then I was like, no, let me just do it during Knit Tea Live, because why not? So, just full disclosure, as always, I'm always completely open. Yes, I am affiliated with Etsy. The reason I am an Etsy affiliate is because of the Fiber Indie list and Fiber Happenings, to try to help make that endeavor a little more self-sustaining, because I do have to pay for the website domain and some other various functions on the platform that I do that website. I joined the Etsy affiliate program because a number of the designers have Etsy stores. So that's why I'm an affiliate with Etsy, which was to help support my efforts with Fiber Happenings and the Fiber Indie List. So I was on Etsy. Oh, I forgot to bring it in with me again. Well, I'll show it to you. I was on Etsy and I was trying to think up, look at stuff for Valentine's, because I was trying to think, there weren't a lot of new pattern releases this week. I was like, well, what can I do some kind of like spotlight on? I was like, maybe I'll do something with Valentine's, the way I do with Halloween. And I started looking around on Etsy to see what there might be. And I came across some unexpected things. Some of them are cool. Some of them are what? And some of them are, why is that on Etsy? So I put together a list of unexpected finds on Etsy. After the live stream is over, I will put a link to that list down in the description box if you want to take another look at it. But I thought we might have some fun today and just take a look at some of the unexpected things that you can find on Etsy. And, oh shoot, I gotta sign in real quick. That's fine. The thing that was so surprising to me about it was the fact that we think of Etsy and we think of it very much as like, artisans, crafters selling handmade things. Maybe you can find unusual supplies for your making pleasure. And when I came across some of these items, it just didn't say Etsy to me. It really was just sort of like, well, I never would have said, let me get to the list. I gotta get to the list because I'm talking around it right now because I had to log into my account. Okay. So, for example, something I would not expect that you could buy on Etsy. And I would even go so far to say I would probably choose not to buy on Etsy. And that is a chainsaw. What? Yes, somebody has a store on Etsy where they are selling a DeWalt 20-volt Max XR chainsaw kit. And, you know, hey, what I love, though, most about this, by the way, what I love most is that on Etsy, when you have a store, you have to explain what your item is, right? Is it something that's handmade? Is it a craft supply? What is it? The owner of the store describes this as handmade. I don't think he handmade a DeWalt 20-volt Max XR chainsaw kit. I just don't think he did that. But hey, I think great that you're trying to have a business. Great that you're selling this. I do question if Etsy is the right demographic for chainsaws. Chainsaw better be handmade, right, Charles? Like, I want to, actually, if it is handmade, you can do a thing now on Etsy with listings where you can put up a little video of you making your thing. I want to see the video of him hand making that chainsaw on sale. I hope the profits are there for him on sale. I mean, it's just like, what? What? Okay. Oh, okay. This is a good one. So, I'm old enough to remember when Angelina Jolie was married to Billy Bob Thornton. Yes, there was a time when Angelina Jolie and Billy Bob Thornton were madly in love. And, how is that allowed? I don't know, Bear. I don't know how that's allowed. Wait till you see some of the stuff that's allowed on Etsy. It's unreal. But Billy Bob Thornton and Angelina Jolie were madly in love in the 90s for a brief period of time. And the way that Angelina Jolie showed her dedication to Billy Bob Thornton was to wear a vial of his blood around her neck. If you feel that that's how you want to express your love for your mate. Or maybe, remember when we were kids and we were like, I want to be your blood sister, I want to be your blood brother, and you like, okay, you can get a blood vial pendant kit. Yes, this kit comes with a vial and an anticoagulant. I did not, when reading the description, see any information on how to collect the blood. I guess I'm assuming they're going to leave that up to people who purchase this. Now, don't get me wrong, I am not judging in any way people who choose to wear a vial of blood to show their dedication to their partner. I'm really not. It's not my choice, but that's okay. We all got our things. I guess I never thought about how you would go about doing that. But this product does come with an anticoagulant that you mix in, and you get one vial that has a little sword on it and another vial that has a little cup on it. And yeah, you can be blood buddies with these vials of blood. That blood necklace. Oh dear, I think I know where this is headed. Yeah. I know, I wasn't real secretive on where this was headed when I started bringing up Angelina Jolie and Billy Bob Thornton. Oh, and I'm drinking a Bloody Mary. No pun intended. What if it breaks? It would be a little messy, for sure. I imagine if it breaks, it'll be a little messy. And, it's an anticoagulant, so it's gonna be like cleaning up blood if it breaks. Let me just see. Blood has been used for magical purpose for hundreds of years. The sale is for one complete kit for you to craft 2 blood vial pendant necklaces along with your own blood. You may use the blood of a lover, a friend, a partner, or perhaps anyone with whom you desire to bond. The kit includes 2 hand-blown glass vials, 1¼ inches long, including the cap. Vials are complete with rubber stoppers, metal caps, screw tops, jump rings. Yeah. 2 portions of anticoagulant. 2 full sets of supplies to assist in your process. 1 small tube of super glue. So, yeah, you can make that. Like I said, I'm not judging. It's just something unexpected. Something that when I first saw it, this next thing, when I first saw it, I went, what? And then when I read the description, I went, okay, I can see the use for this for the right person. But again, just not something I would think of going to Etsy to find. And I guess that's the thing. Some of this is like, okay, I see where this fits into the world. I just don't know what would make someone go, I can find that on Etsy. And that is this, make sure it's there, phlebotomy kit. You can, oh, it's sold. Somebody bought it. Shoot. Somebody bought the phlebotomy kit. Let's see, can I get to the full, here we go. So, there we go. You can see it now. This is a phlebotomy practice kit. So this is for actually people, nursing students, people who are training to be a phlebotomist. This is for them to practice doing blood draws. And they're very responsible. The seller of this product is very responsible. It says right off the bat, this one kit, it contains a tourniquet, push button. I know I read it where it said that it's for practice only. Like, this is just for people to practice, not with actual people. There are actual tools that people will use to practice blood draws. This is one of them. This is sold by the same person. This is a fake skin with veins that's used for people to practice doing blood draws. So I imagine that you would have something like this fake skin and the phlebotomy kit. But yeah, it was just something I was like, okay, when I first saw it, I was like, that's weird. And then when I read more about why it exists, I was like, that makes sense. But again, I was just like, does this belong on Etsy? Is this really what we think of when we think of Etsy? Like medical student supplies. Again, I'm not judging much, but it was a surprise. Okay, there are a few other things that I found. I'm gonna just show two more. This was actually something I found that was unexpected, but I actually think was really cool. For anybody who, like myself, I grind my teeth at night, so I have to wear a mouth guard. And I just thought this was actually like, okay, I didn't expect to find this, but now that I have, I kind of want it. Whoops. There we go. This is a decorated mouth guard retainer case. So if you have Invisalign, if you have a retainer, you can have a cute case to put it in. And I was like, that's actually brilliant. I think this is great. I'm not going to buy this, but I'm tempted to buy this. And so, yes, this was unexpected, but sometimes something that's unexpected is, like, cool. And to me, this was just something cool and unexpected. On Etsy. So, and I could see if I had, if my daughter was old enough and needed a retainer case, I could totally see, like, I wish I'd had this when I was in junior high, wearing braces and retainers. That would have been nice. Having a cool, like, case to keep my retainer in. Okay, so we're running short on time, so I'm going to just show you one more thing. I'm going to show you the thing that inspired, oh shoot, sorry, I closed my Etsy window, I gotta get back to Etsy. I'm gonna show you what started me down the rabbit hole of interesting, unexpected things you can find on Etsy. I think this item hits all of the boxes of what I would consider unexpected on Etsy. A, that I would never think that it even exists. B, why is it being sold on Etsy? And C, what? And here it goes. You ready for this? Hold yourself. Yes. You can, on Etsy, buy a kit to make your own dentures. Just like, what? Premium denture kit, affordable new dentures, impressions kit, impression putty, tooth replacement, veneer kit, teeth replacement. I think it really says something about the state of healthcare in the United States and teeth care in the United States, dentistry, that somebody would go, you know what? People need to be able to make their own dentures. But yes, you can make your own dentures. The store is called DIY Dentures, and I read the description. It was started by a dentist. A dentist? Oh shoot, I gotta read again. At-home denture kit, DIY dentures, do-it-yourself. A nurse-founded business with the mission of restoring smiles to those who cannot afford dentures. The do-it-yourself denture kit includes everything you need to make a full or partial denture from the comfort of your kitchen table. See our video for an overview of the process. So yeah, a nurse was like, there are people who need dentures. They can't afford dentures. I'm going to sell them a homemade denture kit. I mean, yeah, I just never thought I'd find that on Etsy. I never thought I'd find dental equipment on Etsy. So, yeah. So Etsy is more than just handmade home goods and craft supplies. It's also medical supplies. It's also, oh geez, what's the word I'm looking for? Tools. Like power tools. It's also where you can find power tools. And yeah, there's a lot more on Etsy than you could ever guess. So yeah, that's a little bit of fun for this Sunday afternoon. So, if there's any more questions, responses, things you want to throw out there, please let me know. I'm going to start wrapping things up. let's see. This coming week, I know I didn't have a new video on Friday. I will have a new video upload this coming Friday, and it will be about casting on with DPNs. I'm going to show how I casted on actually this glove and how I cast on for DPNs so that it is not a tangly, twisty mess that makes you want to poke your eyes out with your own DPN. And so that is going to be the upcoming video this Friday. Also, what else? That's really, and then the week after, I'm not quite sure. I didn't get to shoot as many videos this past week as I was hoping. I was really wanting to like load up on the videos this week. But one video that I shot took longer. It took 2 days. It took longer than I expected. But I'm looking forward to showing it, not cutting it, but I'm looking forward to showing it. Bear, double checking, increase one time on the 3rd round and then switch to every 4th round, or do both. If you're making the extras, you know what, Bear? Let me double check. I gotta look at the pattern. I will answer you on the knitting group. I will let you know on the knitting group the answer to your question. Okay? Because I don't remember the exact directions for the extra small glove, but I do believe that yes, it is that you increase one time. So you do your first increase, do your next increase on the 3rd round, and then start doing every 4th round thereafter. But let me double check the pattern, and I will answer you for sure on the group. Oh, that's okay. Don't hesitate to answer questions, Bear. I just want to make sure I give you good information. That is all. I want this to be a successful project for you, and that's part of the fun of doing a knit along, is that you actually get answers and responses, and you don't have to guess and flail around. If you want to take part in the knit along, either for the mirror glove or the year-long temperature blanket, or you just want to hang out and share your work and ask questions and chat with other crafters, you can join my group, knitswhereit'sat.com, on Mighty Networks. If you'd like to know why my group is on Mighty Networks and not, say, Facebook, or, well, you know why it's not on Ravelry, you can check out my blog. I have a blog post about it. Thank you. Oh, you're more than welcome, Bear. You are more than welcome. So I covered the video. I covered joining the group. I think that's everything. Is that everything? That is everything. So, thank you so much for joining me today, whether it was live here during the chat or, oh, I know what I wanted to mention real quick before I leave. I want to give a quick shout out to Amy Snell, aka the Devious Knitter. She has just started a monthly, it's a Zoom / podcast / YouTube video. She had her second one on Friday, February the 5th, and it's called Wouldn't Knit Be Fun? Which is so clever. And you can sign up to join the Zoom call, or you can watch the replay of the Zoom on YouTube Live. And I was listening to it yesterday. She had on a guest who is the owner and operator of it's called Peachtree Yoga Knit Retreat Adventures, I think. I forget the exact name. It's so bad. But I listened to it, and I haven't finished, but I was listening to it while I was making dinner last night, and it was delightful. It was just a delightful chat amongst knitters, and so if you're looking for, knitting podcast type situations, definitely check that out. Amy Snell, the Devious Knitter, she has a YouTube channel, and again, after I wrap this up, I will put links to that down in the description box, so that you can easily find it. But yes, check it out. She had one in January. I haven't listened to that one yet, but it was really nice listen. And yeah, so I did want to give her a shout out before I wrapped things up. If you have not already, please make sure to give this video a thumbs up. If you're watching on the replay, you're new to my channel, please subscribe, hit the notification bell, leave comments down below. Let me know what you think about collaborating with designers through the pattern, selling chainsaws on Etsy, and finding denture kits on Etsy. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Are there unusual things that you have found on Etsy? Love to find out more about them. Love to. So yeah. Again, new video will be up on Friday, and I think I hit everything. Oh, I know, my cheeky plug, hashtag cheeky plug. Again, I do have affiliate links down in the description box. If you click on an affiliate link and do some shopping on that site, I might earn a small commission, and this helps support my mission in life now, which is to spread the joy of knitting and crafting. And if you're like, Carrie, I don't need anything, please don't shop. Only buy what you need or want. Don't shop just on my behalf. But if you are planning to shop, it's a win-win for everyone. But you can also leave me a tip. If you would like, buy me a coffee. There's a link for buy me a coffee down in the description box. And any tips are reinvested back in the channel. You can always see what I'm saving my tips up for on the Buy Me a Coffee, because I have a little goal there for you. So you can know that, yes, if you leave me a tip, it is going back into the channel. So yeah, that's that. Thank you again so much for joining me. I hope that you have a wonderful rest of your weekend. I hope you have a really good week ahead. I don't know what the weather is like where you are. In Southern California, we had a cold snap. We are coming into spring, which makes me very happy. I love warm weather. So yeah, I hope you have a wonderful day, weekend. And as always, happy health and happy knitting. Bye.